Welcome back to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. This report is going to be about TNA spoilers that just came in. And here we go. But first, always, your TNA news, or actually Impact Wrestling news. And here we go. Word that Sunday's TNA Turning Points pay-per-view had only 1 hour and 36 minutes of in-ring action, which was about the same time as the previous pay-per-view. And Jeff Hardy versus Gunner with Ric Flair in his corner will be the main events of this coming weekend's TNA Live events in Mississippi. Other matches announced include Winner versus Mickie James, Kid Cash versus Brian Kendrick, Inc. versus Mexican America, Mr. Anderson versus Daniels, Kazarian versus the Pope, and Devon versus Robbie E. No titles are on the line as the rest of TNA crew will be on tour in South America. Former WWE superstar and Nexus member Michael Tarver was backstage at Monday's TNA tapings in Orlando. And here's some other news with Kurt Angle and his report. He was interviewed by Sports Access on PW 24/7 radio. Host was Jerry Sorrentino, James Jefferson, and Joey Image. Full episode available at pw247radio.com. Kurt Angle was asked about his hamstring injury, and he had to work through during his title defense against Bobby Roode, which only lasted about a minute or so. Which, Bobby Roode and James Storm. And he's quoted about, I did have to be careful of the injury when I wrestled James Storm at the TV tapings. I gave it all I could, which was only a minute of wrestling. I've only missed 9 days, but now I'm back to Olympic form. Excuse me. It was just a slight tear in my hamstring, but there was a lot of bleeding. Bleeding went all the way down to his hamstring, down his calf, down his shin, all the way down to his foot. It was black and blue, but the injury wasn't as bad as I thought it was, so he says. But I know I'm back to training. I've done a lot of interviews and gotten a lot of attention for training for an Olympic comeback. My only obstacle is Jake Barter. He's almost guaranteed to win a medal because he is that damn good. If I beat him, USA Wrestling wants to make sure I'm capable of winning a medal. So they want me to come out and train at Colorado Springs, and I'm going to do that. I think I have a great shot at making the team. And he also he's getting into MMA. I've had a lot of talks with Dana White. While he's denied the offers, Dana and I respect each other enough for us not to say exactly what was offered. The thing was, he wanted me to be ready for a short time, and I couldn't do that. I wanted months. He wanted weeks. We're good friends, and I hope he has great success, but you know what? He said some negative things about me in the press. I still love him to death. I did pass his physical, meaning I was ready for competition. But he wanted me to be ready in 4 to 6 weeks, and I couldn't do that. It's impossible. There's also the fact that I'm signed with TNA, and Dana didn't want anyone fighting for him and wrestling at the same time, such as Bobby Lashley was wanting to do. So Dana White says, God bless you, whatever you say. I'll respect that because I know you wanted me to fight for you and wanted me to be your guy, unquote. And he's commented on Kevin Nash. I love him to death. I know why he went to WWE. He wanted the carrot. He wanted that carrot they dangled in front of his face. But he has the WWE use him the right way since he came back. No. Kevin should come back to TNA where they can use him the way he should be. WWE thinks he's old and washed up, but TNA doesn't think that. TNA wants Kevin Nash. He is also gifted, talented, and popular. I want him back in TNA because he's one of my best friends, unquote. Commenting on working in wrestling after retirement and potentially joining the WWE Hall of Fame, quote, if I end up in the Hall of Fame, in the WWE, I don't know if I'll accept it. I love Vince McMahon. He made me a lot of money, and he was like a father to me. But Dixie Carter is my boss, and I love her to death, so I don't know what I'm going to do. I would like to say that I am not going back to the WWE, but Vince McMahon may offer me something when I retire, and I'm done with TNA. But I'd also like to be a part of a creative or be an agent in TNA. Out of everyone in the world, I am the best at coming up with finishes. I would like to stay with TNA and do that. A lot of people ask if I go back, if Vince wanted me for WrestleMania, and I don't know the answer to that. But I do know I am happy in TNA, and I'd like to stay there, unquote. Well, all this and much more can be heard in the full hour-long interview with Kurt Angle. Interview along with the countless hours of other original pro wrestling content can be found exclusively and for free only on PW247 Radio. Now what you've all been waiting for, spoilers for next week's TNA Wrestling News, reported by TNAWrestlingNews.com staff. It says on 11 a.m. this morning. Reported from Daniel Harmon and PWInsider.com. Daniel Harmon was at the Impact Zone in Universal Studios in Orlando on Monday night for the Impact Wrestling tapings for the episode to air November 17th. Well, I guess this is the full results for the 17th. I was thinking it was the 24th. The show started off, Bobby Roode coming to the ring. Roode talks about Fortune and how they were like the crap on the bottom of his shoe and he had to scrape it away. James Storm came out and talked some smack by the entrance. Storm headed towards the ring, but security stepped in front of him. AJ Styles comes to the crowd and he made his way to the ring. Comes up from behind Roode. When Roode turned around, him and Styles began to brawl. Security broke them up, but since they are TNA security, they were unable to separate Roode and Styles. Situation calmed down, and Styles grabbed a mic, and he goes back and forth with Roode. Well, Sting came out and announced the main event for the Final Resolution pay-per-view on December 11th at Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida. Main event will be AJ versus Bobby Roode in a 30-man Iron Man match. Roode left the ring and he ripped the guardrail out of the way and he got in Dixie Carter's face. Styles comes out to protect Dixie. Roode ended up hitting Styles from behind, and Styles bumped into Carter and both go down. Roode mounts Styles and starts throwing punches on AJ. Security and the agents came out to separate them, and they scold Roode for putting Dixie Carter in harm's way. Match number 1, Impact Wrestling Television champion Robbie E. with Robbie T defeated Devon with Angelo De Niro with a roll-up to retain the Impact Wrestling TV title. There was some outside interference during the match. During the match, Eric Young came to the ring with a chair and hit Robbie T with it. Terry chased Young away, and Devon got distracted when his sons leaped the barricade to check on De Niro. In the backstage segment, James Storm asked Samoa Joe if he was the person who attacked him last week. Joe denied being the one who attacked Storm. Then they brawled. Match number 2, Jesse Sorensen and Brian Kendrick defeated Kid Cash and Impact Wrestling X Division champion Austin Aries when Sorensen pinned Cash with an outward rolling cutter. Cash and Aries had issues working together during the match, and Aries walked out on Cash. Backstage segment, Sting talked with Garrett Bischoff about the match that Garrett had last week against Gunner. Chris and Matt Morgan walked into the area, and they are talking about their match at Turning Point. Sting mentioned the current state of the tag team division in the company without teams like Motor City Machine Guns and Team 3D. Says that Mexican America had threatened to leave because they don't think there is any competition. Sting suggests that Matt Morgan and Crimson team up, and eventually Morgan and Crimson agree to work as a team and a match against Mexican America later on in the show, and they become the new TNA Tag Team Champions. But the match is made official. Match number 3, Mickie James won a 10 knockout gauntlet to become number 1 contender for the knockout title. Gauntlet started with Velvet Sky and Rosita. Velvet pinned Rosita after a sit-out double underhook facebuster. Velvet defeated Brooke Tessmacher next. Angelina Love defeated Velvet with a roll-up. Mickie James defeated Angelina with a roundhouse kick. Mickie defeated Sarita with a jumping DDT. Mickie defeated Tara with a jumping DDT. Mickie defeated Winter with a roundhouse kick. Mickie defeated ODB with the Tez press off the turnbuckles. ODB attacked Mickie afterwards, losing a hit a TKO. Mickie defeated Madison Rayne with a victory roll. Madison thought James was knocked out, so she took too long to get to the ring, and Mickie covered. Excuse me. Jeff Hardy and Karen Jarrett are in the ring, and Karen berates Hardy and questions his manhood. She tries to get Hardy to lose his temper to provide him into hitting Karen. Karen tried to slap Jeff in the face, but Hardy blocked it. Jeff Jarrett comes through the crowd, but Hardy sees him making his way to the ring. Karen tries for a low blow, but Hardy avoids it. Sting approaches Ric Flair and Eric Bischoff in the back. Sting discusses rewriting Bischoff's contract, but Bischoff says that he never signed it. Sting says that Eric is going to see his son become a bigger star because Garrett can wrestle. Garrett will face Gunner for later in the show, and Sting will be in Garrett's corner. Sting leaves, and Flair tells Bischoff that Eric has nothing to worry about because they will be in Gunner's corner. Match number 4, Matt Morgan and Crimson defeat Mexican America to become the new Impact Wrestling Tag Team Champions with the carbon footprint. James Horns comes out and he wants to know who it was that mysteriously attacked him last week on Impact, leaving him with a concussion. Storm wants AJ Styles to come out, and James mentions that it is a bit convenient that AJ got the 2 title matches since Storm got the concussion. Styles says that he is offended that Storm would think that he would do it. Storm and Styles fighting, and that brings out Kazarian, who tries to help separate them. Kazarian gets Styles out of the ring, and Styles goes back to the back, and he is not in a good mood. Storm leaves the ring and starts to head to the back, but Kurt Angle emerges from under the ring, and he attacks Storm from behind, and they fight on the entrance ramp. Angle then brings Storm into the ring and hits an Angle slam. Angle tells Storm he was the one that attacked him last week. And that was your main event. And take for explosion, Christopher Daniels defeated Eric Young with a roll-up and his feet with the feet on the rope for extra leverage. And that ends your Impact taping for this week. My mistake. Well, that was reported for next week. Due to the fact that it was reported today, well, I'm still waiting on the other news for next week's show. Thanks for viewing, and y'all shall see me in the next video whenever I do the SmackDown Superstars and NXT spoilers.